Ask a question. Get another to do. One more click. More work from you. Same friction, more clicking, not helpful. Keep trying, still doing the work myself. Don't tell me what to do. It's time to follow through. I don't need more words. I need actions. Stop waiting on me. You have everything you need. I don't need more words. I need actions. Capture leads, fill the form, follow up, send a message, refund me now, take the step, skip the friction, real assistance. I don't want an answer, I want you to get it done, not another suggestion. Execution. I don't need more words. I need action. I don't need more words. I need action. I don't need more words. I need action. I don't need more words. Give me action.
Welcome to the DocsBot live build. I'm Josh Daly, CGO at DocsBot, and joining me today is the fabulous Aaron Edwards, founder and CEO of DocsBot, the legend, the icon. How you doing today, Aaron?
I'm good. Excited to be here and for another DocsBot week.
This has been a big buildup, and we're here and we get to share some really cool stuff. I wanted to just run through a couple quick housekeeping things before we jump in. For those of you who are watching live, I love a noisy chat, so let us know you're here. Tell us where you're watching from. Second, we're going to be doing a live Q&A at the end, and if you think of a question along the way, you can drop that into the Q&A tab if you're here with us, and we're going to get to as many of those questions in this hour that we can, but if we can't, we can still follow up with you. And then finally, if you're watching on another streaming platform like on YouTube or LinkedIn, you can post your questions as well, and we'll do our best to monitor those. But we're going to be prioritizing the participants in our live stream for those of you who signed up and joined us here in the comments today. So, Aaron, it's day 4 of DocsBot Week, and we've already pushed 5 major upgrades to the platform all around our theme, AI that acts. So I wanted to just take a second for you to describe this idea. What do we mean by AI that acts?
Really, the idea is fairly simple. Is kind of the first paradigm with AI was chatbots that everyone's familiar with, especially with ChatGPT and things like that, to where the AI would give you answers, right? So that's how we built DocsBot and why we built DocsBot, so that you can get quick answers to user questions. If you're using it for customer support or for your internal team, you train it with any content, and then it does a really good job of answering. And in fact, looking at our stats from last year, is we had about a 76% overall AI answer rate for across
Incredible.
all of our customers who are using it for support. And then, so I mean, that's pretty amazing in itself. And the deflection rate from actually like escalating to a support ticket was 89%. So that already provides a lot of value to businesses, but we are thinking about, okay, AI is much more powerful now.
Yep.
How can we meet that other 25 or so percent so that you don't have to do anything, right? Or as
Yeah,
close to
exactly.
little as possible, right? So that's why we are adding this new feature or features to DocsBot of actions, which allows your bot to actually perform actions on behalf of users to solve those final 25% of support questions.
Seriously epic. Over the last few days, we've added a series of tools that demonstrate this practically. So on day one was all about pre-sales and lead capture. DocSpot agents capture leads in the widget and they send them directly to your sales team. And if you missed that, go over to the blog. There's a whole announcement about it. So I'm not going to go into
Yep.
these deeply right now, but there's a bunch of content, videos, documentation, all of it's there. Day two, we focused on billing actions with our built-in Stripe integration. Now, instead of
Yeah.
sending a user away to the billing portal, your bot can act as an assistant, providing invoices, account information, assisting with cancellations, and it can even issue refunds. And then day three, yesterday, we launched 3 features: booking actions, custom action buttons, and web search. If you missed any of those, because it's really hard to get these into people's feeds, we've sent emails out and everything else, go to the
Yeah.
blog. Booking actions, though, was kind of the penultimate. It was booking actions integrates with the most popular calendar tools, including Calendly,
Yeah.
cal.com, and tidycal. So your bot can manage scheduling for demos, onboarding, sales calls, whatever you use scheduling for. Then our custom action button triggers actions from the widget. This can be anything from offering and applying a coupon for retention or triggering custom user journeys on your site or app based on the conversation that's happening right in the widget. And then finally, web search. This added an additional context for questions that go beyond the scope of the sources your bot is trained on. This is really great for tier 2 support, like people who like to go way above and beyond for their customers. And, you know, not surprisingly, when you talk to anybody in support, that's them. They're the kind of person who likes to serve and go way above and beyond. But this is real practical tools. This is not just theory. Before we jump into the live build today and what you're going to be building for us, I want to share a quick testimonial video that demonstrates what I mean. Because DocsBot is more than an AI platform. We're working on the fringe of AI every day and bringing practical solutions to our users. And we want to be more like an R&D team, a research and development team for your organization. And so this is really important that we understand the needs, implement them quickly, reduce overhead and risk, and boost your productivity. So one of our customers agreed to jump on a call with me, and I just want to share some of his thoughts that he said.
My name is Johnny. I work for Contractor Foreman as the chat support team manager. We recently deployed DocsBot for our internal support team. One of the problems that we were trying to solve with any sort of AI chatbot sort of a platform was trying to make sure that our agents had access to data that they needed. Because we have over 4,000 chats that we handle as a support team itself. We handle over 600 tickets every single month. For the past month, I was trying to find a really good software that'll help us. I went through probably 20 AI programs. I already had a batch list of programs that I looked into. Because AI is advancing so rapidly, I just didn't want to settle. And finally, I stumbled upon DocsBot, which seemed like very simple, but my goodness, the the use case was already there. Whatever we needed was already there. And one of the things that I had to know was how easy it was to set up. While I was still in the trial phase, I needed multiple bots in Slack. This was not a feature in DocsBot. I think in about 3 days or so, you guys deployed it, and that was it. I was like, okay, this is awesome. We already have an OpenAI bot, and that's been trained for the past 2 years. Every week we upload data, and we are uploading documents, about 50 to 100 questions, depending on the volume that we get. Despite that kind of training with that OpenAI bot, DocsBot AI bot is doing better. It has all the ticket data, and we didn't have to move a muscle. It made me look much better than what I'd hoped because of this integration. So that was insane. That was tremendous value for me. It's always better to have an AI bot that can answer for you specific questions that the customers are asking, to be able to provide the answers to the support team, the CSM team, and all of those things, so that they can answer without relying on other teams and waiting for them to respond. It's faster and it's more efficient, and it saves a lot of time.
Man, we thrive off this type of feedback. I mean, high quality support, fast to market, real solutions, customizing stacks, and then ultimately making our users the hero. So that was day 3 of DocsBot Week, and we have something that's even bigger than all of this. So talk to us about the big reveal, my friend.
All right, the big reveal. So our big reveal is something we call Skill Builder. So I think kind of one of the trickiest things when we're building tools using AI for our customers and our users is honestly, like, the sky's the limit. AI is unlocking so many like new opportunities, and a lot of times it's just a lack of kind of imagination that we have of how AI could be used to like automate workflows and improve our jobs and things like that. And then another big, I think, part of it too is software has traditionally been something, you try to find the right software that meets your needs, and then you purchase it and you use it, but it's never perfect for your use case, right? There's always things that it's lacking or things that it doesn't do exactly the way that you would want it to be done. And so I think AI can unlock kind of a new paradigm in software, to where you may have a like awesome base platform like DocsBot that provides you a lot of the value and that you don't have to maintain. But then AI could potentially allow you to customize that and make it work with your own systems, your own integrations, and things like that. So that's kind of the concept here of skills, and excited to show you guys.
Okay, so we're going to jump in and we're going to show our brand new skill builder. And we're going to build a new skill live and demonstrate that. I've been able to watch on a couple of our own private sessions, and it is literally one of the most mind-blowing things to unlock this kind of way of thinking about integrating with a SaaS that's not kind of in this sandbox that you can't break out of. So it's going to be full development end to end. And then I want you all to stick around to the end. There's going to be the live Q&A plus a special offer and some other announcements about a partner program that we've been working on. Cannot wait to see what you got for us.
Thank you, Josh. So first of all, like, what are skills? Essentially, there's kind of been a new paradigm with AI agents when you want them to actually perform actions and do productive work for you. So traditionally, that was something called tools or functions internally. And that's kind of what's powered DocsBot from the start, because a user asks a question, and then we have internal tools that search your documentation and provide that as context your AI can answer. And last year's DocsBot Week, we even launched some other built-in tools like human escalation and collecting feedback and things like that, but that wasn't really exposed to users. So we were thinking about, okay, how can we make actions or tools that users can fully customize? So throughout this DocsBot Week, over the last few days, we've been launching a bunch of awesome AI actions for like opinionated use cases. So we talked about like the Stripe billing support, or custom action buttons, or booking and scheduling, for sales or demos or things like that, right within the widget. So those are all actions that we kind of pre-built for you. But the idea is like, how can we allow you to create your own skills to extend your bot to be able to do more things? So that's what this release is all about. And so there's kind of been a new standard among all AI agents of how do we add these new abilities to them, and how do we like save them and structure them and publish them in a way that they can maybe be reused across AI agents. And for that, that's called skills is what it's called. And it's basically a standard that is fairly simple. It's essentially just a directory of files. And the first one being a skill markdown file, which contains basically a name and some simple instructions for when it should be used or called. And then the full description underneath it that has all the details and things like that. So that's kind of what a skill looks like, and I'll show you that in a second. But the idea is that it can enable your bot either to get progressive disclosure of prompts. So instead of putting an entire massive prompt of how you do a task, right? You just put, okay, when you need to do this task, then pull in the skill and read these special like skill documents for how you do that task, and then you do the task. And then the other part of it that's really awesome is you can bundle scripts or software with the skill. And so that allows the AI agent to not only like learn how to do that task dynamically as part of the conversation, it can actually call those scripts or built-in tools to perform actions for you. So I'm going to show off our skill builder, and that's what that is. So right here in the dashboard, under our configure page, we'll have a new menu item called skills. You can see here's a list of some of the ones that I've been building and playing with as of right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and start creating a new skill. Now, our idea was that AI has become really good at coding. And honestly, it does 98% of my coding now. You know, all my time is just spent directing and reviewing and testing and stuff. The outputs from all our AI agents that are building DocsBot for you. But we wanted to make that available to our users as well, in a hopefully non-technical way. So if anyone's ever tried vibe coding before, it's fun and powerful, but sometimes it can still be confusing if you're not a developer or understand what's going on behind the scenes. So we've put a lot of work in over the last few months of creating a built-in AI coding agent, kind of vibe coding agent, that is trained and knows everything about our architecture and how to create skills and how to adapt skills from public sources, and how to test it itself and everything that needs to happen so that you can just put in a simple prompt of what you want your bot to do. And then our AI agent can go out and build it for you and test it for you and make sure it's working and make it easy for you to deploy to your users. So I'm going to start by demoing like building a skill, and there's already a lot of skill libraries out there. So a lot of big software products, they've put out their own kind of skills of how an AI agent can use their products. Or people have published like skills libraries that are more informational or include scripts. So here's an example that I just pulled in. This is a popular skills library on GitHub that's open source that a lot of people love to use and install, and it's marketing skills for AI agents. And so if I look, it's basically a directory, and they've created all these are like 30 different skills for different things, SEO audits, referral programs, things like that. Let's see, what's a good one to try? Oh, copywriting. That seems like pretty useful. So I'll jump in, and this kind of gives me an idea of a little bit what the skill directory looks like. So I have my main skill markdown file that includes the name of it, and then a description of when it should be used, basically. So this is saying when the user wants to write, rewrite, or improve marketing copy for a page, etc., then the AI agent will pull in the rest of these details so that it knows all that stuff. So it's basically just a prompt. This is an information only skill. And then skills can contain like further, like more in-depth references as well. So in this directory, I have some more things like copywriting formats, frameworks. These are like popular frameworks for writing copy, natural transitions, things like that. And so basically your AI agent, it can progressively learn how to do things. So the first thing it will see is simply this name and description. And so that's always in like your custom instructions for the bot. But then when the bot sees that you ask it to do something like, okay, you tell it to write a new homepage copy for me, right? Then your bot will say, oh, I have a copywriting skill. So I should load up the details for that. And then your bot will dynamically load the rest of this information. And if it needs to, it will recurse down into the subdirectories to read the some of the deeper references and documents. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how a skill works. And this would be like an informational skill, right? So what I'm going to do is, instead of like creating this from scratch myself in DocsBot, I'm just going to try to install it. And so our builder agent has the ability to browse the web and search using search tools and fetching and all that kinds of stuff. So it can do the research for you, and it can even pull in information from other places, such as a skill library. So I'm just going to drop this in here and say, I want you to adapt and install this copywriting skill. Simple as that. And I'll fire it off. And so now our skill builder, basically, it does some thinking at first to create kind of like an initial framework and title for your skill before it kicks off the AI coding agent, which we'll see in a second here. All right, now I can see that it already kind of assigned it a name, an icon, just to make it fun to browse through there. Then here's where we can actually see like the description. So it already pulled that in from the web page that I linked to on GitHub. And so now it's starting to write the skill. And so you can actually watch your AI coding agent work live for you. So I can see it's searching the web, exploring skills. Now, you can even see what it's thinking to itself, like on the back end, so we have all the reasoning exposed. But the idea is you can just kind of see the progress here. Some of this is a little bit technical because essentially your AI coding agent, it has access to its own computer in the cloud. So it can run shell calls, it can run code, it can fetch things, it can install packages, whatever it needs to do to build the skill for you. And then it has tools to allow it to validate it and test it and make sure that it's working as it should be. So depending on the complexity of the skill, if it's informational only, it should be pretty fast because really it just needs to pull in what's already built there and maybe adapt some of the text a little bit to work in our environment and for our use case. So you can see it's still searching the web. It opened up the specific pages. It's kind of fun to watch it work and think in the background. When it's done, then it will test it, validate it, and then it will publish the skill. And then it's ready to use, basically. Pretty simple. And I can show you some other kind of more advanced details as it's working. I can see, okay, then it validated it. Now it published it. And then it'll probably give me a final response unless it finds something that it needs to fix. Yeah. All right. So it's done. That took 2 minutes, 50 seconds. I adapted the copywriting skill from the repo and published it, and now focus on clear conversion-oriented copy, et cetera, et cetera. So it's done and it's published already. And I can see here that it's safe for this to be customer facing. This is instructional only. It doesn't include any code. And if I wanted to, I could jump into the advanced details where I can actually see what it created. So here's the main skill file that it pulled in. I can see like the reference files here, this other reference file here as well. And then if I want to make any edits or anything like that, I can just paste them in here or tell it what to do, and it will follow up and do that. So that's how you do kind of a simple informational skill. Now, when I go back to my list, I can see it here. And if I want to use it or install it, then I can add it to my bot. So right now, that one click just adds it to the widget. So now it's available to be used whenever I'm chatting something. So let's see if that works. write a simple, short blog post about DocsBot. So I didn't specifically tell it to use that skill. So it detected that it should use that already. So I can see it called the activate skill. And then it performed the action, based on that. So that kind of gives you a basic idea of informational skills and how they can be used. Now I'm going to jump back to my skill builder and let's do something funner and more advanced. Yeah. We wanted to make it easy for users to get started. So we are building a library of skills that are common that we see would be useful for users. So we've already published a number of them. Everything from handling like ticket escalations and things like that, to we have like a human text humanizer skill, internal comms. We'll be adding more and more over the coming days to the library that you can just use. But I'm going to build something more complicated. So let's do this. I noticed that OpenAI released a new image model. It's called GPT Image 2. I want you to create a skill that allows my users to generate images and then display it to them in the chat. So you don't have to know like technical details or things like that. You can just kind of tell it if you want. You could like paste in a link to documentation or things like that may help it move faster. But otherwise, it's able to search the internet and kind of learn those things. One thing I do know that I'm going to tell it, I want the image generation to be fast. So use the low quality and let's generate images as a WebP format because that's smaller. I just know that the API can do that. So I'm just going to give it a little more direction up front so it doesn't waste our time. One cool thing about the skill builder is it's able to, after doing some research, come back and ask you clarifying questions. So if it's not sure what you want, or maybe there's different options for the way that it could build it or things like that, it'll actually come back to you and prompt you with like a multiple choice form saying, all right, do you want to do it this way or this way? We recommend choosing this way, I'm not sure if it'll do it for this task since I gave it such good instructions, but we can see that it is working. It already generated like a title for it, a name, and description for when it should be called and what it does. Now I can see that it's searching the web, looking at OpenAI's docs for how to implement it, things like that. Once it does that research, then it'll either come back to ask me for feedback or it will start building the actual code for it. All right, it's making progress. I can see it's created some script files, validation passed. And it just published it. So it thinks it is done. Now, some of the nifty things about our skill builder is it kind of makes opinionated decisions of how it should be configured. So here I can see, and it can define like what's required for it to run. So in the sidebar, I can see that it defined that, we can actually customize the image model that we want it to use. So that's kind of cool. I didn't ask it to do that. But if we wanted to, we could say, all right, let's make it only GPT image 1 model, they have a fallback model. Interesting. Fallback OpenAI image model if the preferred model is unavailable. Okay. So it can define what's called an environment variable. And this is basically for like settings or preferences for the skill. Or maybe it's a non-secret like configuration value for the skill to be able to run, such as the image model it should use. And then it can also define secrets. So it's very important that any secrets you have, like API keys or tokens or things like that, that they are not stored in the code, hard-coded, because we don't want the users' AI to have any possibility of being able to access those secrets, right, via prompt injection or whatever. So what we do to keep your skills secure is it can define and use secrets, and those secrets the AI has no access to at all. even the script itself doesn't have access to. What it does is it routes the request through a proxy, and the proxy checks to make sure the request is safe. So you can see that we defined, or the builder defined, an allowed host name. So this skill is allowed only to context the OpenAI API, right? So if the skill code tried to call anywhere else that it wasn't supposed to, then it would be blocked and it would fail. But if it does try to call OpenAI, then the secret will be injected into whatever headers or the web request that it makes to that API, and it's dynamically replaced. So, all right, let's test it. Yeah. So to test it right now, I can see I need to put in. I'm missing an environment setting here, so we need a key. I already generated a quick token this morning in my OpenAI account. So this, don't steal it. No, but it only has access. I made a restricted token that only has access to the image model. So I paste that in. Once I save it, then that actually unlocks a way to test it within the dashboard. So obviously we thought, okay, yeah, the user can test it by deploying it to their bot, right? And actually trying it there. But that's hard to test, like what if your skill has functions to do all these different things, like create an item, edit an item, delete an item, whatever that may be. It's kind of hard to test that, and especially if you want to test it in a better way. Let's test it and make sure that it fails the right way if we put the wrong kind of input into that function, things like that. So what we did is we built a second testing agent that is for testing your skills. So I can just click test skill. I can optionally tell it a specific thing I want to test. Otherwise, it's going to just test everything. And I click start. And so that actually spins up kind of like a mini offline version of your bot that has only this skill installed. And then it will just, the AI agent is just going to try to test every single function. And if it finds any problems or runs into any errors, then it is going to try to look at the code, do some inspections, try to figure out maybe what's causing that error. And at the end, it generates a nice little report for you that you can use for fixing or improving the skill. So if I jump into what it's actually doing, I can see it's thinking to itself what I need to do. It activated the skill. You can actually see some of the technical details of what it's doing in there. So it described the skill functions, so it knows how to call them. This is all things that your bot would do on the back end silently when it's actually running the skill. All right, so it finished going. So what we tried to do is make it very user-friendly for non-technical users who aren't familiar with code or things like that. So we can see and look at what it did. So it says it detected the improvements were needed. So tested the function of 2 valid prompts and an invalid prompt. Both the attempts failed because of a 429 error. So if you don't know, a 429 error means that it's rate limit. That means that their model's too busy, basically. I guess OpenAI's model is busy right now at generating images, so it gave you a temporary block. So maybe another test would work. But then we have a technical details report as well that replies after. And so if you're technical, or this can be just used for the AI agent, you can dig in and see exactly what it did, what it observed, things like that. And then it even gives improvement suggestions, like treat it as fallback worthy, implement retries. Maybe that's something you could do. Expand it to be able to handle rate limits better, better error surfacing, etc. Things like that. So those are all things that we could potentially do to improve. And you can send this report to the builder to make those improvements if you want to. So instead of making improvements directly, I'm actually going to ask it, I saw this error. What does that error mean? Okay. And I will send that. So the cool thing about the skill builder is like it has access to the internet. It can actually help you understand it. It can help you build it. All those kinds of things. So if you're like a non-technical user and like, what is going on? Like, what is that? Then it can actually do that research for you and tell you. And another cool thing as well, which I didn't show, is here we mentioned these like values and secrets. Like it could be kind of technical for like, okay, where do I get these values, right? So we actually have a thing right here where you can just click and that will ask your AI builder agent to give you step-by-step instructions for what you should enter in for these values for your skill. All right, so let's create a new skill. Okay, this one's going to be internal only. And I have a WordPress blog, and I thought it'd be cool to create a skill for my internal team. So if this is a private bot, so my internal team, I want it to be able to, after doing research on my docs on the internet, to be able to write a WordPress blog post and publish it in WordPress. So let's ask it to do that. I have a WordPress blog, and I want a skill that is able to submit and write a new post to WordPress using their API when requested. All right, I'll fire that off in another tab, and we'll see how it does. So now you have to put in the WordPress site host, it looks like, WordPress username. Oh, it kind of needs to know what my site name is, huh? And I can't make it dynamic, so let's pull that in. And keep in mind our skill builders beta, like as I test it and as I build new skills, we keep adding better instructions so it can do it faster and more efficiently, with less round trips and things like that. And handling all the different like possible little edge cases or something that's so powerful as this, to make sure it's able to understand how to build it right and how to fix itself if it doesn't. So this is my WordPress domain. So let's see. Let's go back here. In fact, I'm going to interject and say, this is my WordPress host name. I want you to add that to the network policy directly because the network policy doesn't support a dynamic variable. Although that is a good idea, I should let it support a dynamic variable. Okay, WordPress is almost done. I can see now it allowed directly in the host names. So that's good. I still have to put that in. Basic auth, it wants that. That might not be, that'll work. But I'd rather just put in my API key, right? That'd be better. Oops. Which I can generate in WordPress here. I really want to show you generating an image though, because that's so cool. It looks like the OpenAI API is down. That seems to be the problem. Too many people making images right now. But essentially any skill, when it creates a file, it can publish that file to a temporary cloud storage or CDN in a private way, and then it can expose that to users. So that way you can have skills that like generate an image and show that image in the chat response, or you can have skills that that maybe they generate or edit a Word file or a doc or a PDF or something like that, and then return that to the user so they can download it. So that's one of the capabilities that's built into our skill builder, which is pretty neat. But I want to show you guys one of these working. I wish OpenAI was up. But that kind of gives you a good feeling for how the skill builder works and even how you can use our testing agent to test it quick. Josh, do we have any Q&As while these are building that we can answer?
Well, I think a couple things that I wanted to talk about was, first of all, we have a couple special offers that I want to make for everybody who's here with us today. As Aaron mentioned earlier, Skill Builder is in beta, but during this phase, it's unlimited for this week. Unlimited skills and Skill Builder. So you can start playing with it, give us feedback, help us understand how we can continue to improve it, and we will release some of that to you. And then after this period of 1 week, we're going to be adding and changing the way that we handle credits. And so during this time, take full advantage, go after it, try it out, and let us know how we can continue to improve. The second thing that I wanted to let you know is if you're watching and you're not a DocsBot customer yet, we don't generally do free trials, and there's no way to get one on our site. But if you email us at human@docspot.ai and mention that you were on the live stream and you want to participate in the special offer, we will set you up with a demo account for technical evaluation, and it will be a free 2-week trial. And so that's something special that we have only for people who are watching live. The only caveat there is you must provide a business email address for us to be able to give you that. And finally, this is something I've been very excited to announce is we've been working on our partner program, and this is just launching now, but we want to work with a select group of agencies. We're not making this available far and wide. There will be a form that you need to fill out so that we can review your application. But this is going to be different than our affiliate program. Our affiliate program has been pretty generous up to this point with a 25% commission for 12 months of the user's subscription. But we're going to be doing a partner program that allows our agency partners to get 30% commission, and it will be for the life of that account. So no more limit of 1 year. This is going way beyond that, and you can get more information about the partner program by just sending us that email again, human@docspot.ai, and I'll follow up with you with more information about the process for becoming a DocsBot partner. If we've got any more questions, you can drop them into chat while this is continuing to run in the background, and we're resolving some of those errors there.
I can show tomorrow will be the last day of DocsBot Week, and we're going to be announcing our custom MCP server connections. So if you're not familiar with MCP, it's basically a standard protocol that is used to be able to connect to any other software, basically. And a lot of the most popular software out there, probably the products you use, they may have a MCP server already. So you can see, for example, actually, I'm going to close this so you can see what it looks like, but we make it really easy to add an MCP server to your bot and expose those tools to it. So let's just give you a quick demo what that looks like. So Notion, they have one. I just grabbed from their docs. This is their MCP URL. So you just enter that, and our AI agent kind of does some research about it to fill in the form. So it knows when it should be run. Then I save it, and then it does the auth. So it's actually, you support the full modern MCP, dynamic client registration is called. So you don't even have to enter a password if the MCP server supports it. It can just take you to like this, to where it connects to your Notion in this case. And I'm just on a free plan, but it looks like that worked. We'll see. Yeah, so it connected, and then it pulled in all the tools. So I can actually see all the tools that Notion supports here. Gosh, they have a lot of details on their tools. And then you can choose which tools you want to enable, like Notion Search, Fetch, whatever. So depending on your use case, yeah. So that's exciting. So that's a way, without building something, that you can just connect to your services without even building a skill.
for those of us who are watching and have heard about, we already have our MCP connection for DocsBot. What's the nuance here that people would want to know about, that we're not talking about DocsBot's MCP, which has been out for a long time?
So the DocsBot MCP that we've had before, that allows DocsBot to be an MCP server for you, so that you can either search your documentation or you can search your question history logs for like analysis. And so that allows you to connect DocsBot to, like, say, ChatGPT app or Claude Code or whatever other AI agent you may be using. You can connect it to DocsBot so it can search the docs, so it can search and analyze the customer question history. So in this case, it's the opposite direction. It allows DocsBot to connect to other MCP servers to perform actions in whatever it may be. Notion, like, we use that for, we have bots that are able to do SEO, and they have an SEO skill, and they connect using the Hrefs MCP server, so it can, like, actually do keyword research and things like that for us as we're just chatting with it in Slack. So it allows you to unlock a lot of those capabilities similar to our skill builder, but using the kind of opinionated server that provider already created.
What I'd love to do is to get a demo out of the end-to-end, and we'll send that out to you all soon. And hope you all had a fantastic time joining us. Look forward to continuing to serve you as an R&D team, working at the edge of AI and then bringing those practical tools to your team so that you can be more efficient and better at your jobs without having to think too much about the development and coding side of things. So, Aaron, thanks
for
again.
joining us.
Fantastic job. Appreciate you. We were just finishing up our live stream that went amazing. It was a very fun live stream, but we encountered some really frustrating things that made it look like our skills weren't working. As soon as we drop off, we get on to kind of do a recap. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 images start populating. So, Aaron, I wanted to give you the chance to get back on and show and explain what happened. Like, third-party dependencies are a real issue here that we have zero control over, right?
Yeah. So we tried building a image generator skill for both OpenAI's GPT Image 2 model and Google's Nano Banana 2 model, which are both like the best in class image models. But apparently both of their APIs are overloaded and down right now. So
everybody's out there generating images right now.
I guess so.
The whole internet is out.
So
I was in the background actually spinning and replicate just like hundreds and hundreds of images while you were.
Oh, that was you, huh?
Well, I want you to show us what you built, because I know it's really cool to show to be able to see it in action.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so I enabled the image one. Let's try this. I want you to create and show me an image of a robot who is working with tools to help customers. It's a customer support robot. I want it to be cinematic, dramatic, and epic.
All right, so it's working there, and it shows. Tell us what's happening here.
It's calling, activated the skill.
Oh my gosh.
It pulled in, it called the image, so I can actually open this up to see like the prompt that it used. It asked for a landscape image. And it created a neat little image there. And within our chat widget and stuff, you can actually download image files and things that are inserted. Let's try something. Now create a storyboard with 4 frames that are all wide, and I want you to display them embedded all at once. I'm curious if this will work. I have not tried it. Oh, so now it's creating prompts for me. Okay, now generate those 4 different images and show them to me.
All right. So now all of this was built, including the way that the interface functions inside of the DocsBot widget from the skill builder earlier
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, exactly. Now, because this is our kind of dashboard chat, it's meant for like your internal team more. So it shows you a little bit more technical details like activated skill, called this function with these parameters, things like that. So you can kind of get an idea of what's going on behind the scenes better. When it's displayed to users in the widget, it's going to show less information there. But I can see, like, it did what I said, like it created that storyboard of the different
Wow.
frames. That's pretty cool. So getting away from image generation, if I go back, the other skill that we were trying to show our users was the WordPress skill. I wanted to be able to publish posts in WordPress. And after building that, I ran into a limitation with our architecture. We'll improve that. Just with the security part of our architecture, that I wanted it to be able to let me just put in my WordPress username and then my application password that I get from the WordPress dashboard. But unfortunately, because of the way our security works, it's not able to generate the signature to be able to do that. So instead, it told me that I should just run this command, like in my terminal on a Mac, which combines the username and password and creates a signature. So that's all I did offline, and I put that in. I didn't have to change the skill at all. Saved it. And now let me see. Yeah, okay. It's added to the widget, so it should be working now. So let's say I want you to write and publish a WordPress blog post that covers the basic DocsBot features.
And so this is going to write and publish to the DocsBot blog or your personal blog. What do you have it set up on right now?
I set up this it's like a demo WordPress site that I have.
Okay.
So it'll post into there. This only has the ability to write a post as a draft or published, I think. And of course, you could expand the skill with the skill builder. You can say, okay, I want you to be able to edit posts. I want you to be able to assign categories and upload featured images or whatever it is that you want to do, So I said, okay,
Wow.
it's done. If I look at here, I can see first it searched my documentation to get some information that it needs. Then it activated the skill. Then it called the skill function to create the post. And I can actually preview some of the HTML that it inserted. Oh, and it even gave me a link. So let's see if it worked, huh?
There it is.
DocsBot features, a quick overview. There it is. Hey, boom.
Incredible.
Yeah. So it worked out of the
Well,
box. I just had to add the right API key.
That's amazing, man. I just wanted to be able to jump back in here. It's like we said it. Well, anything happens. And this time it was third-party dependencies. And so I'm super glad that we were able to jump back in and show that. And I'll share this out to those that were on the live stream. But Aaron, fantastic job. Excited to see where we go with DocsBot.